Welcome back, guys. Got a Peugeot Boxer in today for glow plugs. The job hasn't gone swimmingly well. 2 out of the 4 glow plugs broke, so now we've got to remove them. We did make the customer aware that these particular cars do have issues with getting glow plugs out. They have a tendency to break, as it's happened to have broken. Now normally most garages will get a specialist to come and do the repairs, but we are a garage, we're a specialist, so we will be removing these glow plugs and I'll take you on a journey how we're going to do those. This is the vehicle we're working on, the Peugeot Boxer. It's quite a big intrusive job, it's a lot to take off to try and get to the glow plugs properly. So this is the first one that broke, you can just see the head of it. Number 2 came out okay, number 3 broke, number 4 came out okay. So just to show you, that's the broken glow plug. So this is the broken part. It breaks just above the thread, so the thing is still screwed in. Now before we do any kind of work here, I'll do a bit of housekeeping. You can see that where we're taking the manifold off, we have debris on the inside, and when we start drilling we're going to end up with more debris on the inside of this engine. So the first thing we're going to do is get the vacuum cleaner. We're going to suck out any loose debris that's in here and up here. We'll get a blowgun and blow everything away, and then we're going to block these holes up with tissue to stop any debris from getting inside the engine, and then we'll start doing drilling. Housekeeping's all done now. This way we know we're not going to damage the engine, cause any issues afterwards. Now, I don't know if you can see in this hole, it's not a flat hole, it's actually tapered, it has a dish at the bottom of it. This is a tool I need to use as a guide, so when I'm drilling into the hole, it lines the drill up, and you can see it's very sloppy. The reason it's sloppy is because of that taper at the bottom of that seat. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get some blue tack. I'm going to fill the hole with blue tack and get a shape out of the hole, and then I'll go over to my lathe and machine something up to match that shape, so that I can butt this tool up against it so that it sits there flat. Anyway, so there's our tapered shape. So now I'm going to go over to the lathe and see if I can machine something close to that. I'm over at my lathe now. I've got this piece of tube. I'm going to machine that to the right diameter and then just round the edges off. I've made the piece now. It's not the prettiest thing, this piece of metal was really hard. But I've put a slight taper on the edge here, so that as I push it in, it sort of wedges itself, and I've profiled the edge as well, so it sits at the bottom. I also machined the centre out, so that this would fit in there nicely. And now that's straight. This tool fits perfectly in the hole. This is the drill we're going to be using to remove the rest of the glow plug. So this point will go through the centre of what's left. This collar will start to eat away at the rest of it until we get through the thread. And that's as far as I want to go. I don't want to take the whole thing down the hole. So whatever's sticking out needs to be drilled. Add the length of the thread plus the end of the tip, and that will denote how far we need to go down. So everything's set up, let's start drilling. This is the stuff you don't want to fall down to these ports. So at this stage, whilst the glow plug's still in there, partially, we can use an air gun to blow down there because there's no way of getting anything further past it. So I can see now we've gone past the thread, so now we can get the rest of our tools to slide hammer it out. Okay, we're going to remove our guide for the minute, and we're going to tap a hole. The hole I've drilled and tapped is actually M6, 6mm. So this is going to screw into the piece I've tapped into, and this is the puller. This is M6, the other one was M7. Right, I've removed the bushing that I made because I don't need accuracy anymore because the drilling's already done. Cracking noise you can hear is the seized glow plug coming out. Well, that was certainly a battle to the very end. You can see the excessive carbon build-up. The reason that's happened is because this hasn't seated properly, like these ones. So what's happened is the soot has blown past the glow plug and just jammed it in there. So you can see where we tapped the thread in. What I was trying to explain about the drilling before was about the depth of how far you were going to go. If I line these up edge to edge, so I drilled just past the thread like this, so I was able to pull it past the threads. To try and tap it up here, you'll never put it out because it's still screwed in, so you have to drill past that. This particular drill bit leaves some of the thread behind, so now when we tap it, it will just clean the hole and we'll still use the same thread. If the thread is beyond economical repair, then we can use our thread repair kits to try and make it usable again. This is the first one I took out. This is pretty bad, and this one, to be fair, is even worse. The only way the soot can get up here is blowing by here. If the camera's going to zoom in, but you can see shiny parts here and dark parts here. And there's the dark parts where all that's blown by. By the looks of this, either the seat wasn't cut properly at the bottom from factory, because these are the genuine ones. It's still got Ford on there, Ford Motor Company. There's the broken piece that came out. Now I've taken one of the good ones that came out and I've cut the head off it. Now there's a reason for that, and I'm going to show you the next step. So this glow plug is M10 by 1mm, and this is an M10 by 1 tap. So what we need to do is the holes we've just drilled, we need to re-tap or clean the threads out so that the new glow plugs can go in smoothly. So we're re-tapping 3 and 1. Now the trick to tapping with these is, if I was to tap that now, we're going to get filings and debris going straight into the cylinder, which we don't want. So grease is your best friend in this. So you put lots of grease onto the gaps between the threads, and anything that comes off, this grease will act like a magnet, and let's get that back up there. and will stop anything falling down the hole. So this glow plug that I cut down, and there is a reason for that. I'm going to put this into the good hole. Let's try this one. Now this is my guide for this. So it's very difficult to know whether you're going in straight or at the angle or what that was tapped at originally. So we'll use this. I'll know I'm in the same direction as that, and my angle is the same from the side. Because if the glow plug doesn't go in straight, it won't seal at the bottom. See, we've collected all the dirt, the grime with the grease. We'll do number one now. I've just cleaned the old grease off that one, put some new grease on there. Going to use this as my guide. If some of you are wondering whether it's safe to blow these holes out, the soot particle that goes into the cylinders isn't going to really hurt it. If I just remove one of these, you can see how much soot there is. This is the intake, so we've got soot going in there regardless. All diesels have an EGR valve, which is exhaust gas recirculation, which means some of the exhaust gas is recirculated through the intake system, so it's burnt twice. So these diesels naturally have excessive soot going into them. I'm going to use a little file brush to clean these ports out. This next bit I'm going to show you, I have to emphasise that this video is not a tutorial for you to do what I'm doing. This is for your entertainment. Not that I'm going to lose any fingers here today, but this is something that we've been doing for years, and it prevents a lot of issues with glow plugs coming out in the future and going back in. So I'm going to do this particular thing, watch, be entertained. There's no safe way of doing this. It doesn't matter what gloves you wear, it is not going to save your fingers. So if it goes horribly wrong, it's going to be for the rest of your life. So enjoy, do not repeat. So what I've effectively done is turned these into taps. And these grooves will help cut any debris out of the holes as it goes in, and in the future if they want to come out, sometimes it's bind on the way out, rip the thread out, and what this will do is it'll cut its way out, leaving the thread intact. This doesn't harm the glow plugs in any way, it doesn't weaken them, and if they do seize, penetrating oil will never get down those threads. All penetrating spray says that they're magic lubricants in the side of the tin, but you'll never penetrate this thread. And as you saw, it wasn't here that was the problem, it was all the way down the bottom. So if they do carbonise, you can spray, and the spray will go down past the grooves and soften all that carbon. So it gives you half a chance of getting them out again in the future. But like I said, this is something we do. You saw how dangerous it was. You could lose a finger and it will go straight through a glove. I mean, those things cut through steel, as you can see. Steel, concrete, it'll go through anything. So if you catch your finger, on your head be it. This is not a tutorial, this is just showing you what we do. I'm going to put these in the head now. I'm just going to put some copper grease on there. So this acts as cutting paste and lubricant. Now bear in mind that these are in, they need to be torqued. They're not very tight. They vary anything between 8 and 15 Newton meters. These particular ones are 13. Most 3/8 drive torque wrenches won't go down that low, so let's use a quarter. So all the glow plugs are now in. You can see how straight they are relative to each other. Some of you may have noticed that this is a Ford Transit engine. Now what's a Ford Transit engine doing in a Peugeot? Well, PSA, the parent group who owns Peugeot and Citroen, collaborated with Ford some years back to create engines. So their engines are in pretty much a lot of vehicles. So we get the similar problem with the Ford Transits. Well guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. It wasn't without its challenge. The challenge is getting these out without breaking a drill bit. You've watched this video, it's been a 20-minute video. It's not a 20-minute job. This is a day's work. When starting these jobs, we work over the slam panel. It's quite deep. So you're having to work in the dark, feel. It's very rare we take the front off to do these, but when these break, you have no choice but to take the front of the vehicle off, because you need to be able to get a drill in there and drill straight. I apologise for the noise outside. Unfortunately this was an outside job. We're in a very busy industrial estate. We have forklifts running, we have a fabrication workshop to one side, fabrication the other side, a carpet company next door with forklifts and lorries coming in. We have a bus depot next to us, a train tracks and a dual carriageway. So if the noise has been a bit fuzzy, I'm sorry about that, but it just happened to be the nature of the job this time around. Now I am going to offer you some advice and some words of warning if you're going to do this job. Now, we were very fortunate that this glow plug broke right at the bottom. If this breaks higher up and this pin is stuck in here, You use a drill bit, you'll break the drill bit. You cannot drill out a drill bit. If you break a drill bit in this, it's head off. You see how thin this end is. You're going to have to use a very thin punch to get this out, and that's even if it does come out. You'll end up damaging the head from the other side, and you've already damaged it from this side because you broke a drill bit in there. It becomes a nightmare. It's literally an engineer's job. It'll cost you a fortune. So be mindful. If you can have a go watching this 20-minute video, it's not that easy. I've been doing this for over 32 years, and we've had things go wrong, but you know, we learn from it, and we have tools and equipment where we can get around things. But you break a drill bit, on your head be it. If you lose your fingers using a disc cutter to do what we did, on your head be it. This video is for entertainment. It isn't a guide on how to do glow plug removal. If you're in the motor trade and you think you can do this, I've left some links at the bottom for eBay, and if you're an Amazon fan, there's an Amazon link there as well of some of the tools that we've used that might help you get a glow plug out. These are affiliate links. There's no cost to you for clicking on them, but it does help our channel out. Also, if you're going to do this job, once you've removed the front, you might not get the job done in the same day. Word of advice, remove the ECU from the near side panel behind the headlight. If it rains, you're going to need a new ECU. Don't ask me how we know, but that day was an expensive day, so even we make mistakes. So ECU out, cover the fuse box, so if it rains you don't end up with extra expense. Again, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit the like button, please hit the subscribe button, and hit the bell notification so you're notified next time I upload a new video. Take care guys.